In this short video, we're going to learn a little bit more about taking tests in Blackboard. Taking tests in Blackboard is a simple process as long as you have a few tips. Let's start with question types. There are lots of types of questions. Keep in mind that any of these can be on your test. Some of the most common are either or, essay, fill in the blank, matching, multiple choice, short answer, and true false, as well as those used with math or science formulas such as calculated formula and calculated numeric. Let's look at a few that might be on a test. They're just not as common. Fill in multiple blanks. This is very similar to fill in the blank. There are just multiple blanks possible and you have to answer each one of those blanks. This one can be a little bit tricky. Multiple answer. This means that more than one answer is necessary to answer correctly. The number of answers, well, that can range from 2 to quite a few. What is a hotspot? These are used to find a location on a map or something of that nature. While ordering, you just put the information in a certain order. For others, your instructor will explain these if they plan to use this type of questioning. Instructors have the option to offer tests with many different availability options. Here are a few of the options that you may see in one of your online courses. The first, multiple attempts. You're given more than one chance to take a test. As a matter of fact, the attempts are unlimited, but there are some filters that can be added. The first filter, number of the attempts. The test can be limited to 2 attempts or more. Be sure to read the instructions because the scoring of the attempts may be a factor. Your test can be scored in the grade book from the last attempt, first attempt, an average of all of your attempts, the highest grade, or even the lowest grade that you make. This should be explained to you in the instructions if your instructor uses a scoring option. Additional testing options, well, they include forced completion. This is where you are required to complete the test in one sitting. So once you start the test, you must finish it. There also may be a time limit on your test. Some instructors will limit the time you are given to take the test. Some of those options may be as little as 10 minutes for a short test and up to 2 hours or more for a longer test. Test availability. Many of your instructors may limit the time that the test is available to you in Blackboard. For example, if you have a test that covers the material for week 2, you may be given a certain amount of time during that week to complete the test. The test will only show up in your course during this time. Another option, due dates. Some instructors set due dates. This may also show up in your What's New, What's Due landing page. Some instructors will have the test no longer available after the due date ends, so keep up with these dates. They are really important. Test presentation. This is how you're going to see the test. You may see all of the questions on one page, or you may just see one question at a time. Some instructors may prohibit backtracking. This means that once you answer a question, you can't go back and change the answer. Randomizing questions. Most of your instructors use this option. What this does is it tells the computer to select the order of the questions. So the questions won't be in the same order as your friends' questions. They might not even be the same question if the instructor uses a test pool. A test pool is different questions over the same material. So one question a student may get on one topic is a true false, while another student in the same class has it in a multiple choice format. This helps to limit the possibilities of cheating. Test results and feedback. You will be able to see this through your Grade Center. There will be a lot more information on this in a different presentation. So for now, just remember that your test, once graded by your instructor, may have feedback and other information, including your score. What's the most common type of test that you're going to see? Well, that's going to be the one that has one attempt, a timed test, and typically forced completion. Okay, so let's take a test and see how this works. What you'll want to do is go to your course content. That's where your tests are likely going to be located. You'll have different folders, places to find it. It may look a little bit differently than this, but in general, they're going to be in about the same location. So I'm going to open up week 1 because I need to take week 1, chapter 1 test. So I scroll down, I find chapter 1, and I open it up and it says begin chapter 1 test. You can see this up here in the top. It gives me instructions. It's a time test, but the good news is, well, the timer hasn't started yet, so you have all the time that you need to read the instructions. You have forced completion. So once you start the test, you have to complete it while you're sitting there. So you've got to hit save and submit when you're done. Multiple attempts. So I get to take it more than once, and there's a due date. So be sure and read all of that information. Once you're ready to take the test, let's click begin. I'll get some different options that pop up here. I can go back to the course, I can see the attempts that I have already, or I can start a new submission. We need to start a new test, so let's click here. You'll notice a few things happened. It tells me that it's a timed test and the timer started going. Don't let this distract you. It's there to kind of give you an idea of how much time you have. So just keep in mind that it's there, but don't let it stress you out. This test, just do questions because I'm just showing you how to use the testing system. The first one's fill in the blank. So I'm going to read the question, then I'm going to answer the question. Because it is fill in the blank, make sure you spell it correctly because some instructors may count it as wrong if you don't spell it correctly. Once you have that in there, you hit save answer and you can see it's worth 10 points and my answer is saved. It's not telling me it's right, it's just telling me that I've saved my answer. Then question 2, multiple choice. So I read through it, I pick my answer, and I save my answer. So that answer is saved as well. Now I can save all answers at this point. They're already saved, so there's not really any point in it. I look over the material because I still have 3 minutes and 54 seconds. So I look over it, I check it, make sure it's right, use all of my time that I need, but not too much because you don't want the timer to run out. Most cases, the instructor has it where it will save it and submit it for you. So I'm done. I'm ready to submit. I get test submission confirmation. Click cancel to return to the test. If it shows that you didn't answer all the questions, you need to cancel and go back and answer those questions. Or click OK to submit because it doesn't tell me that I have things that aren't answered. I'm going to hit OK and this is what I get. It tells me it was saved, it was submitted, and when it was saved and submitted. But notice it says over here it was late, so I missed my due date. I need to know my instructor's policy. The good news was that I got to take the test late. The bad news, well, the instructor may not accept the test late, or there may be some huge penalty applied to it because I didn't take the test on time. Be sure that you know your instructor's policy, and the best practice, just take it before the due date. Got one more OK I need to hit down here in the corner, and it gives me a review of the test. So I have the information at the top that tells me it's chapter 1 test. It was late, and I did get 20 out of 20 points, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that there's no late penalty or the instructor will take it because I did very well on it. And then you may see a little bit more information at the bottom. Question 1, question 2, where it gives you feedback or the questions. Most of you likely will just see this top part though, but I wanted to show you that just in case you do see that. Once you've reviewed it, you hit OK, and it takes you back to where you were in that week 1 module. On the grading, we're going to have more information coming up in the different section, and you'll learn a lot more about your gradebook.